Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. First of all, hello if you are new here, and thank you for coming back if you've been here before. So today I'm going to try and answer quite a few questions that I get. I'm going to try and answer them in one video, and that is all about my journey so far and going into my new goals of fitness and nutrition, etc. So I kind of want to rewind all the way back, maybe to where I gained a little bit of weight, where I struggled with fitness, what my big hurdles kind of were, coming all the way through to where my transformation sort of started, where I lost a lot of weight and where I kind of transformed my body, my mind, etc. All the way to that I'm now pursuing fitness and nutrition as a career, as an online coach. So if we rewind all the way back, I think a lot of the good and the bad of my kind of fitness journey stems from being a child. The good being that I was that person that played every single sport after school. Played from cricket, rounders, netball, bit of football, everything. I was such an active child, and that's all the way through primary, juniors, and secondary school. Always played sport. I also had a horse, so I was really active. My Saturday afternoons consisted of being on the yard with the horses, constantly on my feet. I don't think I ever sat down. I had a Sunday job through my whole teens with horses, so really physical lifting, etc. So I've always been very active in that way. As a child, I decided to become pescatarian from about age 8, because the Jamie Oliver documentary came out about chicken nuggets, and I went home to my mom. I can't remember where I watched the documentary, it might have been school. Went home and said, I'm a pescatarian now, I don't eat meat. And I was already the fussiest eater in the world. Like, I still to this day don't eat green vegetables, and I'll hold my hands up and say, no, that's not good, but I don't bloody like them, so I'm not going to eat them. I found other ways to get like micro and macronutrients, so don't come at me for that. So I became a pescatarian, so basically a vegetarian that ate fish but didn't eat vegetables, and I lived the life of eating carbs and dairy. So my diet was cereal, toast. I do like things like eggs on toast. As a child, I remember that. And big bowls of like pasta, plain pasta covered in cheese. When I say I've been a pasta monster from day dot, pasta was life and still is life. So my diet was so carb heavy, with things like cheese and etc., which it's not a bad thing, but it just wasn't balanced. And that continued into my kind of teens, etc. However, I didn't put any weight on through this time. I wasn't a fat child. I wasn't a fat teenager. Please don't kind of take this as any offense. I still don't necessarily call myself fat, but I'm saying I didn't put weight on, because even though I normally would have, because of my diet, because I was so active. Like as a teen, I used to walk to the bus, get the bus to school. I used to get off the bus early and walk with my friends, walk into the local shopping centre, walk home because I'd missed the bus or not get the last bus. So it was really I was really active. So what I was eating didn't really have an effect on me. However, I then went to uni, and although I went to study a sports degree, I went to study fitness and personal training, strength and conditioning, I was so active and I was starting to get into the gym by this time. But when I say the gym, it was cardio, cross trainer, treadmill, rower, etc. I just used to use my dad's day passes and just go to the gym, even though I wasn't even old enough. But anyway, I went to uni and continued to kind of eat what I was eating. By uni, I'd started eating meat again, because I was actually working in a fish and chip shop. And the first bit of meat I ate after being pescatarian for about 8 years was chicken kebab meat, which was obviously not going to end well. So I did start to eat meat. That opened my eyes to kind of McDonald's, KFC, Domino's. This was all really new to me. I never really ate junk food as a child. I didn't eat the best food, but my mom I can't remember really having a McDonald's more than 2-3 times. We never had fast food like that. We might have a chippy on on a Friday night, but I didn't really like Indian food. I didn't really like Chinese, so it wasn't, fast food wasn't an issue. It was just the constant crap throughout the day because I was a fussy eater, and that's not my mom's fault, that's my fault. Anyway, I'm gonna flipping go off on tangents so much on this video, but I went to uni, carried on eating that way, and everything slowed down, and the eating just got more and more and more, and along came the drink, and then along came the hangover foods. So uni was where I gained about 2.5 stone. I think I probably hid it very well. I think a lot of people look at my kind of transformation pictures and go, I don't ever remember you looking like that. I don't remember you being that bit much bigger. And when I show people like pictures of my face before versus now, or like my before and after pictures, and I'll insert things all throughout the video kind of my transformation, I don't think they think that's me. And I'll be completely honest, I don't remember feeling like that. I don't remember feeling that big. However, I do remember vividly, which is quite a sad kind of time, and it was the same with my friend at uni at the time. When we were going on a night out, so it was someone's birthday, we'd go on to like ASOS or Misguided or Pretty Little Thing or something, and we'd search night out dresses, and I'd always go to the long sleeve option, like night out dress, long sleeved, black, because it was more slimming. And I remember my arms, I don't think I wore a vest top or a dress without sleeves for about 4 years, which is really sad to me now, because I think even if I was bigger now, I'd have the like, I'd know I should just embrace how I am. But it really limited kind of what I wore, what I did. I never went on a girls' holiday through uni. I went with one of my friends because I was so comfortable with her. Never went on a girls' holiday through uni because I wasn't confident. That affected me kind of meeting people and having the confidence to do that. On the outside, I was a gobby, like, class clown. But on the inside, I definitely didn't have that physical confidence, especially as I was like telling people, yeah, I'm going to be a strength and conditioning coach, I'm going to be a PT, and I didn't feel good within myself. It was a bit of a dilemma going on in my head, which I don't think I realised at the time. I only realised afterwards. So uni, believe it or not, I was training like 3-4 times a week, and I was piling on the weight like there was no tomorrow. My housemate used to knock on my door at 2 a.m. and go, should you just get a McDonald's? I was asleep. I'd just get out of bed in my dressing gown and go and get a McDonald's drive-thru, and we'd sit and eat a cheeseburger and some cheesy bites like it was normal. I'm going to really expose, sorry Liv, our snacks were like, should we just put a whole like baguette of garlic bread in the oven each and just eat that as a snack? Okay, yeah, why not? Should we order a Domino's? Or we kept winning like free Domino's at some stage, and we were having like free large Domino's all the time, and I was like, this isn't good. But what wasn't good was my knowledge. When I was trying to be good, I still couldn't work out why the weight was going on. I used to eat things like pesto pasta, like a big Tupperware bowl of it, smothered in pesto. I think that was healthy because I wasn't eating a meal deal. And I was like, when I look back, I'm like, Gary, that is not healthy eating. But that's poor knowledge. And I was on a fitness degree. So this is why I'm so passionate to help people now, because I know how hard it is, even with knowledge. And it's not until afterwards that I actually learned the whole truth between kind of calories in, calories out, but you don't learn that. Anyway, another tangent. Uni, I put on the most amount of weight. I put on about 2.5 stone, and I sat about 65 kg at my heaviest. I'll put a picture here. This wasn't necessarily just after uni, but it was when I was at my bigger weight. I was about size 14, big 12, 14. Never kind of been that weight in my whole life. Never really knew. Suddenly everything didn't fit, and it was a shame. But it is what it is. I then finished uni, and I went into like some part-time work in like the promotional world, and it was all very, the prettier you are, the more work you get. The slimmer you are, there was crop top pants. There was that kind of promo world of you were the face of somebody's brand and they were paying you to do that. I don't mean like club promo. It was things at like exhibitions and sports events. So, Grid Girl for like super bikes or F1 and stuff like that. And that's when I started to realize I needed to kind of not necessarily just lose weight, but I needed to be a bit healthier. My skin was horrific. Bad acne, greasy skin, greasy hair, just not a healthy person in general. And I was having PT. I was having 2 PTs a week, the most incredible PT in the world, who is now my coach. But I was having a PT and rewarding myself with a McDonald's on the way home because I'd worked for it and I'd worked really hard, and that was okay. And just because I'd been to the gym, 3-4 times a week, and I worked hard in the gym, I knew how to train. I've kind of always known how to train, but it's just what I put in my mouth. I work hard in the gym, and I thought I could eat what I want because I went to the gym, and so the weight just stabilized, if not got worse. And I'd message him and I'd be like, I'm going away in 6 weeks, can we get some weight off? And I'd lose a smidgen, but in the most unhealthy way possible because I left it until 6 weeks to go. That's my own problem. He dug me out of kind of a few holes a couple of times, and then sometimes was like, nope, you're not doing it. And he was right to do that. And then however many years on down the line, I think I'm going off on huge tangents, but hopefully you get the gist of where I'm coming from. Lockdown came, so like March, was it 2020? Lockdown came, and I just sat at home. I couldn't go to work, so I'm a sports therapist, so I couldn't go to work. I couldn't hands-on treat anybody. And I just thought, if I don't get some help, I am going to come out of this an absolute mess. I just knew, everybody was making banana bread. Everybody was, home cooked meals because it was the only thing you could do. Takeaways were the highlight of your week. Drinking. And I messaged who is still my coach now, and I said, can you help me? I'm not going to be able to. I want to come out of this a better person and a healthier person and a fitter person and have more confidence than coming out of this another couple of stone heavier. And that was like flicking a switch. That was the best day of my life that I made those changes. Before this, just to add this in, I tried If It Fits Your Macros, I tried MyFitnessPal, I tried keto diet, I tried absolutely bloody everything. And it lasted for a couple of days, and then I had to go, the weekend doesn't count, and eat it all back. Anyway, that's not kind of what we're talking about. Lockdown came, I messaged my coach, and who was my PT, who was going into online coaching, and obviously we were all not able to go to the gym. And he was like, I've got you, set me a meal plan. I'd stuck to it like I'd never stuck to anything in my whole life, because it was almost the one thing I could concentrate on. It was the one thing I had control over. Everything else was dictated to by Boris at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, how much time we could go outside and everything. And I wasn't able to work at all. There was no kind of working from home. And I went into the garage with my dad, and we dug out some old weights, some old dumbbell, screw-on dumbbells, barbells. My mum had bands. Oh, I literally ended up with a wicked setup, and he set me a training plan. I had a one-to-one Zoom through lockdown, and the weight just started to come off, and I just started to gain a fitness that I'd never felt before. I was kind of running, I was doing home workouts, I was doing HIIT workouts in the garden, I was doing challenges that has set me, 100 burpees into 100 this, into 100 that. I was training multiple times a day because I just loved it, and that wasn't in an unhealthy way. When people say, oh, I train multiple times a day, I was in the most healthy mind and the most healthy body I'd ever had. And that was about 2 and a bit years ago now, and I've never looked back from that day. The last 2 years of my life have been the best years of my life, the most productive years of my life, the healthiest years of my life. And that's not just in fitness and nutrition, that is in work. I've grown a business I never thought I could grow. I've kind of built a career I never thought I could build. I've bought a house. I'm the happiest in my mind. I've got the best mental health I've ever had. I'm just the happiest person. I'm the happiest and the healthiest I've ever been in terms of relationship with food and things like that. It's just, when I think back to that message, I think, what if I didn't message him then? Where would I be? It's actually quite emotional. to think about where I would be if I hadn't sent that message, and I owe that to him so much. So anyway, going into kind of how I got the weight off, etc., and what my journey's been throughout that little bit of time. So lockdown, before the gyms opened, the weight came off through calorie deficit, just being really aware of what I was eating for health and to lose body fat. So I was in a calorie deficit, but I was eating a lot more healthier. I was going on like 100-kilometer bike rides because it was something to do in lockdown. I was loving my home workouts. I was loving being creative because I've got this PT qualification by this time. You know, I'm a qualified strength and conditioning coach. I've got it all, but it was the food. So I'd got all these equipment. I was like, right, what can I do with this? Me and my dad built a homemade squat rack in the garden through lockdown. So I was like, right, I can finally do this. Drove over to another city, and it was when weights were just, you know, so hard to come by. I managed to buy these weights. I could do hip thrusts. I was in Argos queue in Sainsbury's for about 3 hours trying to buy a barbell hip thrust pad because you couldn't get them anywhere. And I was just so motivated and so happy. And I think that reflected in just so much of my life in terms of I was the best Kerry I'd ever been. And I thoroughly believe I still am, which is something I'm really proud to say, not in a big-headed way, but I am super proud to say that compared to the very unhappy, lazy, bone idle Kerry that was 5 years ago, that didn't get out of bed until 11 in the morning, would stay up till 3 a.m, would go and get McDonald's at 2 a.m, bad skin, you know, wouldn't go to work for more than 3 hours because it was too much. I was tired. It's just pathetic, basically. That person was not a healthy or not happy person compared to who I am now. Anyway, so lost some weight through the first lockdown summer, and then I think we went back to the gym September, October-ish, and I went into a bulking phase after my first holiday, and that was so exciting. I was like, right. I felt very skinny when I lost the weight. I felt like someone had put a pin in my glutes and my legs, and I just deflated. But I knew that was the process. I knew I needed to shed the body fat, and I'll kind of insert the kind of leanest at that stage I've been. We then went into a bulking stage, which was incredible. It was so fun. I've never felt so strong. I've never felt so progressive in the gym. I've never been so confident with my lifts. You know, my squats were touching like 85 kg. Considering I was at like 53 kg, that's quite a good kind of ratio. And then the gym shut. And the old me would have just gone, fuck this, like, I'm just going to go back to how I was before. But I set up a home gym in my nan and granddad's garage. I went there when it was -2 at 8 a.m. in the morning. I'd take the dog with me and I'd make him sit there, and I'd do my workout in -2 because I was still in like a calorie surplus, and I built loads of tissue and I was really happy. So I kind of insert a shot of like my legs. And then we come into 2021, had a few holidays booked through that summer, so I went back into a deficit, and I went to Ibiza after cutting post bulk with the most confidence I've ever had. I went with a friend, and it was the first kind of abroad holiday after lockdown, and I felt incredible. We went to and that's not in a big-headed way. I'm talking about I felt incredible inside. Went to a pool party. I've never not walked around without a cover-up on, and I was like in a bikini. Like, I feel great. I had a few holidays that year. I think I went to Cyprus and Dubai and just felt amazing again. And that mental change in me has just reflected in every aspect of my life. I'm generally the most productive and happy person because of my fitness change, if that makes sense. Where are we at? So that was kind of 2021. 2022, I had a few holidays earlier on in the year. I've just come back from Dubai, so I've stayed quite lean. I did a photo shoot, which I cut down for. I'll insert some pictures again. Never felt that comfortable and incredible in front of a camera. I was so happy. And that brings us to now. That brings us to where we're at now. And I am just starting another bulk with gyms this time, so it's not as limited. Couple of months, I don't know quite how to trust my coach. I've still got the same coach from that day. Couple of months of building some tissue and trying to kind of grow legs, bum, nice cap shoulders, and then shred it off all at the end of the summer and see what we're left with and just see what process we've got, but just trying to be the happiest, healthiest me. And that takes me to the kind of career it's given me. I'm now online coaching women to try and give them the journey that I've had. So I'm guiding people how I was guided in lockdown by my coach through nutrition and exercise, and trying to portray that feeling that I had into others. And I'm really enjoying it so far, and the results I'm having are incredible so far with the women that I'm helping, and that is the cherry on top of this whole journey. And what excites me most is this is still the very beginning of my journey, and I've got years ahead of enjoying the gym, training, getting strong, growing tissue, shredding it off, see what we've got, carrying on with a good relationship with food, enjoying being healthier, eating correctly rather than eating 50 shades of beige, and just trying to be the happiest, healthiest version of myself. So my current goals are, like I said, I'm just going into a bulk. I am, when I say a bulk, it's going to be a very slow, steady, lean bulk. I don't want to gain massive amounts of body fat. I have signed up to a half marathon in September. I'm just going to enjoy training and lifting heavy and hard and enjoying my progress there. And again, keeping my mind and my body healthy by making sure I'm including loads of micronutrients as much as macronutrients. So that's where I'm at. That was probably the most blabby 15 minutes of your whole life, and it probably made absolutely zero sense. But I wanted it to be very raw, very unedited, no kind of like looking at notes and seeing where we're at. And that's kind of my story from someone that was very low, very unhappy, and it all happened very quickly to get to that stage at about, I'll use weights, I was about 65 kg. To my leanest at about 50 kg, so over 2 stone, all because of my coach, Ellis. So I am now offering my services as an online coach to help women get from A to B, just like I have, and feel the best, most powerful versions of themselves.